On two.
Ooh la la. Day 100. Mate, 100. I'm back with some good news. The news reporters have stated that the lockdown is slowly coming to a calmer point, which means it's not so hectic, which means things can slowly get back to some form of normality. I've already gone back to work and I'm telling you, I already feel like a new man. It's great, yeah? So soon, shops will be open. And the pubs ain't open yet, but we're all craving for a beer, well, most of us. Most importantly, you'll be able to spend time with your family and your friends. And I can't wait to spend time with my princesses. Princess.
Netflix, I've completed it. 5,000 Zoom calls later, and I'm currently pretty sure my body is more ethanol than water, due to the amount of hand sanitizer I've been using. Although that might also be down to alcohol consumption.
I decided to take the high road. I announced my resignation in the middle of a Zoom call with the whole firm, and I finally figured out that whole virtual background thing. So I had, as my background, the article that exposed my firm's gender bias, just in case anyone missed it. Timothy's face was priceless. Also, they're giving me a nice severance package because they're worried that I'll talk to the press and fan the flames.
After Florence had all that trouble in and out of the sweetie cupboard, I thought I'd better do some investigating. So I had a look, and there was absolutely nothing left. I have found out the most extraordinary things have been going on right underneath my roof without me having the faintest idea.
I'm back in Britain. From one infected country to another. Oh, I just saw a bus come past and it was totally empty, so I just presumed it was out of service, and it was my bus. I should have stopped it. I told Mum I'd be there by 4. It does feel a bit weird being back. I left months ago following a lucrative deal, and now I'm back broke. But I do feel relieved.
Apparently Boris is going to announce that gyms, hairdressers and pubs are going to be reopening on the 4th of July. I rang out Clive to make a date of it and he's up for it. But I know he's a bit cautious, about being in a pub with the social distancing. I don't know how they're going to work it out. You know how busy pubs get. Anyway, I thought I was doing a nice gesture, inviting my boss along, because we've been talking a lot over the lockdown, like I told you in the other tapes. I sent him a text, didn't get a reply. I gave him a phone call, didn't call back. I even sent him a WhatsApp message and I got the blue tick treatment. Mate, am I a mug? You know what I realised? He's a user. Now lockdown's over, he's gone. Well, thanks a lot, pal.
Today, I painted this garland to remind myself that even though things are uncertain and I don't have a plan like I usually do, which stresses me out sometimes, I really do have a lot to be grateful for. I'm alive, I'm healthy, I have a family that cares about me and loves to show that care through endless Zoom calls. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, but I decided that with this new outlook, I needed a new look. Matthew cut it. It's not so even, bless him, but it's okay.
So in theory, I should be able to go back to work. In theory. Tourism, tour guides, not exactly at the top of the list right now for necessities. The fact that people have to do a 2-week quarantine, self-isolation upon entering the UK, plus the whole, hey, look at our stats, we've ended up being the country with the highest death rate in Europe, isn't filling people with a burning desire or confidence for coming to the UK, let alone going on a gin, Harry Potter food walking tour with me around London.
I was so worried about Daisy gadding about when we're supposed to be in lockdown here that I forbade her from leaving my sight. Well, after a couple of hours sat in silence together, Florence came rushing in with tears flooding her face, spluttering something about not being able to do it by herself. Well, of course, I had no idea what she was talking about. But Daisy gave her such a nice warm hug, and she seemed to whisper something in her ear secretly. To which Florence shot straight off back upstairs, positively grinning. Well, of course, I knew something was up.
On a positive note, I had a conversation with my mum, a really good talk. As she opened up about a few things, I opened up about a few things. She said some home truths, and I said some home truths. But in the middle of this conversation, I realised, right, that this was happening because not only what was going on with us, but what was happening in the whole entire world. But this got me thinking, right? There was one more person I needed to have a chat with. I needed to have back in my life.
Just been in to talk to Mum. Nan didn't make it. I wasn't expecting her to. Took me by surprise, seeing my mum sad like that. I always wanted to prove myself to her. I don't know, become rich or something. Make something of myself. But that doesn't seem so important now.
I feel so much anxiety and stress about, first of all, going back to a city that is just rife with the virus. Going back to my housemates after being away for so long, you know, the idea of even going on the tube, I don't know if I want to do that. You know, I've got used to living with my parents being this much quieter, slower way of life. It's very much become my new normal. Hate that phrase.
Matthew has really helped me through this whole career, personal shift. Thank God, years and years of teaching have given him a lot of patience because, let's face it, I wasn't the easiest person to deal with before. And we're really excited that they've announced this partial lifting of lockdown. As soon as things pick up a bit, we're thinking of planning a day out in London. Museum, gallery, some live music maybe. I don't know, actually enjoying the city that I'm usually just rushing in and out of like a headless commuting chicken.
Smilers. That's what they called them. You know, like howlers in Harry Potter. They came up with this idea of writing personal letters to vulnerable, isolated people to help cheer them up. Of course, they ran into the obvious problem that letters don't travel on sheer will alone in the real world. So poor Daisy was not only responsible for organising and writing these letters, but she had to deliver them by hand as well. Gloved and sanitised, she assures me. Charlie's part was to keep me at bay whilst Daisy was sneaking out. And Florence came up with the lovely idea of adding some sweeties to each envelope. Hence her trepidations into our sweetie cupboard.
I don't know how long I can really sustain living with my family. I don't think adults are really meant to live together when there's a parent-child status past the age of 17, unless you regress back to being 17. Plus just the stress of if I get it and pass it on to them, at least living away would mean that I wouldn't have to worry about that. And you know, people might want to come back to London and go on tours when the travel corridors open again. I know the other way around, as soon as the travel corridors open, people are going to be flocking to the airport to get on any plane they can, get out of here and have some form of summer.
We are back together. Congratulations to us. Yeah, it's official. I'm not lying. It is official. Fact, we are back together. We had a talk and we decided we're going to make a go for it again. But take it slow. Pigeon steps. Like a snail. Tortoise, you know? So yeah, I'm back at work. I'm back making a great relationship with my mum. I'm back with Karen, the love of my life. And all I need now is a beer at the pub.
I was speechless when Daisy explained. I think she thought she was going to get grounded for the rest of her life, but honestly, I've never been more proud. Which brings me to your rather pertinent question. I'm afraid to say I have learnt some surprising truths about myself in this time. There I was thinking I had everything under control for my family. And it turns out they were the ones holding the reins the whole time. I'm particularly ashamed to say that it wasn't me, but Charlie that was by Dan's side when things got really tough there. And it's time that changed. So I've joined the Smilers, adding baking to the mix. And you know what? If Mr. Hancock says it's safe for us to book a little staycation in Cornwall to let the children dip their toes in the ocean and be children once again, then I say, roll on 4th of July.
I won't lie, I am scared. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if things are going to get worse. I don't know if the government knows what it's doing. And for someone who likes to have every inch of her life structured and contingency planned, that does cause anxiety. And at the same time, I feel like even though this godforsaken virus has made the prospects of illness and death seem closer than they ever were, I am living my life and appreciating my time in a way that I never would have if we weren't in this strange situation. Anyway, time to go bathe in some trees. Bye.
You know, it's been a long few months. And I think I've tried my best with all the restrictions. I'm just worried that now the restrictions are gone, I don't know what I want. But I'll tell you one thing, I've decided I don't want to sell colostomy bags for a living. Nobody's interested in anybody like that. Anyway, I've left them all in France at Mr. and Mrs. Boche's apartment. Which does remind me I should get a COVID check. And an STI check. Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. Do you know what? I'm going to end on a quote of my favourite entrepreneur of all time, Del Boy. You know, this time next year, I might be a millionaire.
So everybody stand up and raise one arm high. Her voice project as she speak out loud. Shout, this is how it is. This is how it is. So everybody stand up and raise one arm high. Her voice project as she speak out loud. Shout, this is how it is. This is how